fight tonight.
What's going on, everybody? Jade up here. Today's video is going to be a very, hopefully a very short one, and a very simple one. We're going to be talking about what gear sets you need as a main tank and an off tank, who's going to run that set normally, where to get the sets if I can remember off the top of my head, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And basically what the 5-piece does and why you wear it. So it's going to be very short, very sweet, and to the point. I don't really care, honestly, if you guys reply in the comment section and be like, yo, well, I've beat Veteran Sunspire running leeching and whatever else. Yeah, cool, whatever. You can complete the gear. You can complete any content running very tanky and very selfish sets. But what's difficult to do is wearing sets that buff your group, that help buff your group or debuff the ad/bosses. So it's harder to do it that way than it is to wear just tanky gear and whole block. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the gear sets. The first one is going to be Eben. Eben comes from Crypt of Hearts. Either one or two, it doesn't matter. It comes in healthy. It's a heavy piece set. Obviously, most of these sets are going to be heavy. Usually the off tank will run this, but there are very few times that a main tank will run it. But it's getting so much that, you know, most of the time an off tank will run it or nobody's going to run it. So if an off tank isn't running it, more than likely nobody's going to run it. So really good set to get though, still. The next set is Perfected Yonakrins. You can only obtain this set perfected from beating Veteran Sunspire or Veteran Sunspire hard mode by killing the bosses and looting them. The chests on Veteran Sunspire only come in non-perfected. It's still not that bad. The only part that you're going to miss is the 5-piece down there where it says the 1206 max health. You'll just be missing that for non-perfected. I totally forgot to tell you what Eben does, so let me hop back over here. Eben gives you 1,000 max health, or excuse me, 1,000 health to you and your group members within 28 meters. That's why it's good. All right, so Yonakrins, when you taunt an enemy, you and your group members gain minor courage for 15 seconds. That increases their weapon and spell damage by 129 for 15 seconds, and it occurs once every 8 seconds. So once the 8 seconds run out, you can taunt an enemy again. It'll refresh it. It'll refresh the minor courage back to 15 seconds. So I already told you where it comes from. Usually the main tank will run this. It's very rare that an off tank will run this. But I can tell you right now, you definitely want to farm this eventually, because there is going to be a time if you only want to off tank that you will have to main tank at least once. So definitely getting Yonakrins is highly like just get it. All right, so let's look at some other sets now. Some honorary mentions that you won't really use that much anymore is Dragon. You won't really use this in trial settings anymore. The only ones that I can really think of, if you're progressing Veteran AA hard mode and you're tanking the axes by yourself, you could run Dragon and Potatoes and just sit there and pop like sword and board ulti over and over again if you wanted to. That's the only reason that I would kind of wear these two sets. Also in Veteran Sanctum, Ophidia, I think I said that right. You know the Azara boss, the snake lady, right before the final boss, the serpent? You could throw this on as well if you're tanking the ads and just kind of like chill out over there, popping ultimates over and over again. So these sets are not bad. Dragon comes from East March. Potatoes comes from Guild Traders or PvP. And if I remember right, which I probably don't, I think it's from the town over here. This town here, where my mouse is at. I think it's still over there. Because I know Moratong is like up here in this town. And I forget what's over here. It might be in this town over here too. But I think it's in one of those towns. I don't actually remember. But that's where potatoes comes from, PvP, and it's actually pretty cheap, so you can obtain it very easily. It actually might have went up a little bit because of the two pieces here, reduced your damage taken from players by 5%. I know a lot of PvPers are using it for like two-piece jewelry pieces or weapons and stuff like that. As a tank, you'll probably only want the jewelry, just so you can throw like a Maelstrom Sword and Mordon or something like that. But these two, just kind of like an honorary mention if you have to tank solo stuff for a very long time. These two sets combined are really good together. Defiled Dragons. Now, this set comes from Lair of Marsalok. You can farm it on vet or normal, totally up to you. I'm not going to say that every time, but sometimes you have to. I don't know why. You can farm this, Lair of Marsalok, weapons, jewelry, body pieces, whatever. Usually the main tank will run this, and you'll be running this on in trash pools. Oh my god, I forgot to do this again. Dragon reduces your ultimate cost by 15%. So does potatoes. That's why it's kind of good. Oh, they do kind of stack. Alright, so Dragon Defiler, what this does, when you take melee damage, a big AoE comes around you, and it affects every enemy around you with minor fracture and minor breach. That lowers their resistances down by 1320. And it occurs once every 5 seconds. It's a really good set, and it procs like literally all the time. There's almost no cooldown to it, which is really great in trash pools. It's basically like spamming Power of the Elite on every ad. So it's just a really good set. Again, Lair Marsalok comes in healthy, I believe, and heavy armor as well. Again, the same with Dragon and Potatoes. They come in healthy. Potatoes only comes in a 3-piece set, weapons or jewelry. We already went over Ebon. Hearsing. Hearsing comes from Selena's Web. It comes in a medium set, I believe. I think it's a medium set. I'm pretty sure it's a medium set. Yeah, it's a medium set. And basically what this set does is it reduces the cost of your stamina abilities by 4% for you and up to 11 other group members within 28 meters. And these are the green orbs that you'll see circling around. So mine are red because I have Ebon on. Green is either Hearsings or Sanctuary, and then blue is Worm. Dragon Defiler, usually a main tank will run that. I'm sorry I'm going back and forth. It just... Hopefully you're still with me here. Hearsings, you'll probably run this as an off tank. Ebon and Hearsings you'll probably run as an off tank. It just works really well together. The combination does, and that's probably why. But you definitely want to get it. The lightning staff or ice staff is extremely rare. I have still yet to use it, but that's why I have a bow. So. And bow works fine as well. All right, let's keep it going. We'll go over monster sets later. All right, Alkosh. Alkosh is a medium set. It comes from Wilder Kosh. Usually an off tank or a main tank will run this. Usually main tank will run Yolnokren's Alkosh if they're close enough to the boss. Really good set. Basically what this one does, it's a medium set if I haven't said it already, but when you activate a synergy, you send a shock. It's basically like a conal AoE in front of you that deals so much damage, but then it reduces the physical and spell resistance of enemies in front of it that are hit by it by 3,000. So this is not a major or minor buff, so it does stack with Dragon Defiler and other sets because they're not a major or minor buff. They're just just a flat value buff or debuff, excuse me. Definitely get this one in jewelry, weapons, potentially body pieces, but mainly weapons and jewelry. Morak Tong, you definitely want to get some Morak Tong. This comes from PvP, if I remember right. I actually can't. I can't even remember where Morak Tong comes from, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure. I think it's PvP. I don't even remember. Anyways, Morik Tong, when you deal direct damage, you cause the enemy to take 10% more damage from all poison damage abilities for 5 seconds. Now, this is mainly on a main tank. I've seen off tanks run it, but it's mainly a main tank. They'll usually run Yolnakrins. Yolnakrins is usually going to be on the main tank almost 100% of the time. But and then they swap out. I've ran Alkosh before. I've ran Morik Tong before. I'm in 2 Godslayer progression runs. And excuse me, gotta get some water. One of them makes me run more Tong, and the other one makes me run Alkosh. So it's it's whatever, right? So Morik Tong is definitely a set you want to get. It was in the golden a couple weeks ago. That's why I have gold jewelry, and I have a lot of purple. I'm pretty sure this comes for PvP. You can get it from the guild source if I remember right. But if I also remember right, the shield and the one-hander and the lightning staffs are kind of a pain in the ass to find. So good luck in trying to find that. Worm, sometimes an off tank runs this, and sometimes the main tank runs it. And I say that for a main tank runs it is because we have recently been running it on Locustes. The Ice Boss and Veteran Sunspire hard mode. I solo tank it. So I run Eben so that another healer can DPS and the other healer can only straight heal. So yeah, you definitely want to get weapons and jewelry. I cannot find a lightning staff or an ice staff to save my life. So I'm stuck with having to run it on body pieces. So I have 2 body pieces and jewelry. And this one comes from Vault of Madness. It comes in a light armor. It's all light armor, as you can see. But basically what it does is it reduces the cost of your magic abilities by 4% for you and 11 other group members within 28 meters. So it's a really good set to do. Or to have, just in case. And I think that's pretty much it. I feel like I'm missing some sets, to be honest. Yeah, I feel like I'm missing some sets. So I am gonna go over some honorary mentions. Banny set, if you are progressing like Hellraw, hard mode, or I don't know if this set works on the dragon on Veteran Sunspire. I don't think it will because Malubeth doesn't work, Zon doesn't work. Basically any tethers don't work on the boss if you have to tether an enemy. I couldn't tell you why because the hitbox on the dragon is so freaking huge. I have no idea why it doesn't work. But Banny set is kind of like an honorary mention here. And it comes from Ice Reach. And it's a new dungeon that just came out. When you taunt an enemy, you tether them for 5 seconds and it afflicts them with major maim. So it reduces their damage done by 30%. So any boss that hits you like ridiculously hard, you can use this set and affect them with major maim quite a bit. And then you also gain major vitality, increasing your healing taken by 30%. So it's a really good set if you're looking to be extremely tanky for no reason, and you just need that extra bit. I don't recommend really. You can farm for it. I'm farming for it right now, but that's totally up to you whether or not you get it or not. I'm just gonna try and skim through because I was running kind of late to do this set or do these, so just trying to look at some sets that might some other sets that will buff your group. I think that's pretty much it, to be honest. I'm skimming through right now. A lot of people don't run Torx back anymore. I know some people are going to be like, well, what about Torx back? Yeah, a lot of tanks don't run Torx anymore because of Yolnakrins and Alkosh and stuff like that. So you're more than likely not going to run Torx back anymore. I don't even think healers run it anymore either. Just skimming through right quick. Yeah, I honestly think that's pretty much it. I feel like I'm missing one set piece somewhere, and I just can't remember what it is. Oh, Powerful Assault. I I wasn't really going to mention this. So I think this is a set that I was thinking of. I have to, once my phone's done charging, I'll put it in the comment section or whatever, if I remember. But Powerful Assault, this is one that I did want to touch on. There has been times that we've had our off tank use it, and it's just kind of like unreliable. So that's why we don't use it anymore. They've pretty much like screwed this setup quite a bit. So don't really run that anymore for 4-man content, or excuse me, trials and stuff like that anymore. All right, yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's go into monster sets. I wish there was a wicked way that I could just click monster sets here. Is there? No, there's not. All right, so here's some monster sets, right? I'll just go through here because I think it'll be a lot easier through my thing right here. This is called Inventory Insight, for those of you guys who didn't know. Some sets that are still good. Vicosa. Vicosa's still really good. It's not like super amazing or anything like that. Me personally, I still don't understand why Sauce nerfed Vicosa in the first place. From what I got from it was, I basically read something that they put in the patch notes that, you know, basically less than 1% used it, and the people who did use it, basically perfected it, and they used it too good, so we're going to nerf it. Basically is what I got from what they said, their explanation, which I wanted like a legit explanation of why they nerf certain stuff, not like, oh, it's just so, you know, like, the less than 1% of the group use this monster set, and they use it at the most perfect time, so we're just gonna nerf it. Like, that doesn't make sense. It's stupid. Back in the day, what it used to do is it used to affect major maim. You used to have to taunt and then bash an enemy in major maim for 3 seconds, and if you time that perfectly, you and your group wouldn't take like almost no damage. It was disgusting. It performed really, really well. And if you missed the opportunity to bash at a specific time, nothing would really happen too much. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just don't understand why they nerfed it. This comes from Moonhunter. Was it Moonhunter? Yeah, Moonhunter Keep. Obviously on Veteran. All these monster sets are going to come on Veteran. Norviken's a nice set to run in trash pulls if you have if you don't have a DK going on Talons. Talons affects everyone. When you hit Talons, it affects everyone. Here, let me show you. So Talons hits everyone within 6 meters, and it affects them with major or minor maim for 10 seconds. So if you hit this every like 8 seconds or so, you know, and it hits the enemies, they get affected with this set. Basically, they get affected with this set. Let me go all the way back down to Thorvikens. Yeah, so they get affected with minor maim and minor defile. Minor defile doesn't matter too much, but the minor maim is really good. It's just basically whenever you take damage. So, really good set. Comes from Fanglair. Obviously on that. I have tried Troking in a few instances. I wouldn't recommend really farming for it, but if you have it, cool. If not, not a big deal. Some honorary mentions: if you're running that dragon and potato set that I was talking about earlier, you could throw on dragon and potatoes, right? Excuse me. Dragon and potatoes, and then run like the Maelstrom sword and board on your front bar, and then whatever on your back bar. If you have to tank solo stuff, and then just pop a shield ulti and stuff like that. And then, because whenever you low slash and then heavy attack, you get 2000 stam and magicka. It's actually pretty OP. Engine Guardian, yeah, I have used this quite a bit. A lot of people laugh at you when you use it, but when you ain't dying and when you're maintaining your resources pretty crazy, they tend to like just shut up, because this is actually a pretty good set, honestly. It procs quite a bit if you're using a lot. Like if you're on a Nightblade tank and you're using Engine Guardian, it's pretty disgusting how much this procs actually. And this comes from Dark Shade Caverns too. Maelstrom weapons comes from obviously the Maelstrom Arena on Vat. Symphony of Blades, another really, really good one. Whenever you heal somebody and they're under 50% of their primary resources, it grants them Meridia's favor. It restores 23, 25 magicka or stamina every 1 second for 6 seconds. So that's a lot, actually. If you guys don't know, like that's quite a bit. 23, 25. Say you're a magicka like Templar, you get below 50%, you get hit with this, you're gonna get 23, 25 every 1 second for 6 seconds. That's pretty disgusting. This comes from Depths of Malatar, and obviously on bet. Oh, I didn't actually say what Engine Guardian does. Engine Guardian, whenever you activate, whenever you use an ability, you got a 10% chance to proc a Dwemer sphere, and it restores 1100 health, stamina, or magicka every 0.5 seconds for 6 seconds. So every 2 seconds, you're looking at 2,000 stam, or excuse me, every second you're looking at 2,000 stam, health, or magicka. And you'll tell which one it is because a sphere will spawn and a red, blue, or green line will tether to you, and that's what you'll start getting for that. Swarm Mothers, a decent set to get if you're doing Veteran Sunspire hard mode. If you're doing the strat where you go underneath a fire boss and pull the ads in, you can put this set on, hold block, and sometimes the fire actuals will get pulled into you. So the way this works is when you taunt an enemy and, or excuse me, you don't even have to taunt them, but if a ranged enemy hits you further than 8 meters, it'll pull that enemy into you. It's just kind of like a chain thing. So it's not a bad set, but it's just, I've only used it once, and I kind of stopped using it, but I know a lot of people are still using it. Stonekeepers. Probably one of the best tanking monster sets in the game. You can literally hold block. Excuse me, just had a yawn out of nowhere. You can just sit here and hold block with this monster set and almost indefinitely never let go. If you run Dragon, Potatoes, the Maelstrom Sword and Board, and Stonekeepers with a shield ulti and pop shield ulti, have low slash heavy attack, you are not running out of resources. This is so disgusting. But it's a good set. I run it quite a bit. If I'm struggling with resources or anything like that, I will definitely throw this on. This or Engine Guardian, and until we tweak out whatever we are whatever we need to. This comes from Frostvault. Super. I guess it's kind of tough for some people, but it's not bad. Not hard at all to get. And I forget where Swarm Mothers comes from, to be honest. I honestly cannot remember. I think it's Arx Corinium, but I can't remember. It's probably not Arx Corinium, but it might be. All right, where's the next monster set? Where is the next monster set? Sentinel used to be really good. We don't really use it anymore because it sucks. So that sucks. We don't really have to farm for that. They nerfed it for whatever reason. I don't know. All right, where's the next one? I know we didn't go over like Lord Warden and stuff. So I'm just kind of waiting to see where that's at. Mighty Chuden, I don't ever use this, so I would never recommend it. Yeah, wouldn't really recommend it. Malubeth, don't really recommend it either. They've nerfed it, they've buffed it, they've done all kinds of stuff to it. I wouldn't worry too much about this set either. Lord Warden, here we go. This one comes from ICP. Whenever you take damage, a 50% chance to summon an orb, and it'll be a blue orb, and it'll be a huge circle around you. And anybody who's inside of it, their spell and physical resistance is increased by 3870. So it's a pretty good set. For trash pulls is what I use it in. Other than that, I don't really use it. But not a bad set. Definitely look at trying to get that for sure. Nope. Ice Heart, no. Grunwolf is actually an underrated set. I have used this before on my Nightblade, and it works amazing. It's so amazing. If I'm ever in a situation where I have sustain issues, but I don't ever hold block, I 110% will run probably Grunwolf or Engine Guardian. And I think Engine Guardian's a little bit better, but Grunwolf is amazing. If I'm not ever hitting abilities, Grunwolf is probably the play. If you're constantly hitting abilities every so often, Grunwolf is Engine Guardian's the way to go. But if you're only hitting so many enemy or so many abilities, you definitely want to try and look at Grunwolf. Grunwolf comes from Moongrave Fane. I'm surprised I remember where all these sets come from, to be honest. I kind of forgot where Swarm Mothers comes from, to be honest. Okay, so a lot of people say Earthcore is trash now. In a way it is. But what I will say, if you are tanking something and you're just not getting healed, I would 100% look at running Earthcore and only run selfish heals. So like Green's Dragon Blood, Dark Cloak, or something like that, and this will proc on you. As long as you don't heal anybody else, this right here will proc on you when you need it. A really good monster set. I just wish that it still affected a majority of people instead of just one person. I think when they nerfed it to one person, it literally screwed this entire setup. And a lot of people stopped running it. There's very few people that run this now. And if you do run this as a tank, it's because you don't trust your healers or you're just not getting healed enough in certain situations. Yeah, they really screwed this setup. What they probably should have done to this set is put it to where 6 people, it only healed like 6 people or something like that. Maybe reduce the healing it did to it, but yeah, they nerfed that shit to the ground. Chokethorn, no. Just kind of going off of some of this stuff. I didn't have any of this stuff planned. Bogdan, no. Bloodspawn, yeah, you definitely want to get Bloodspawn. Bloodspawn comes from Spinal Clutch 2. I still run this set quite a bit on like other trials that like Kragorn trials and stuff like that. There's obviously other monster sets that are better, but Bloodspawn's still a really good monster set. Very easy to obtain as well. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I think I pretty much covered a gist of everything that I run for trials. Yeah, I pretty much covered everything I run for trials as far as like gear goes. And I went over a lot of that stuff. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to send me a message or write it down in the comment section below. As far as monster sets go, main tanking, Vycosa, the only time you would kind of use that is if you're taking a lot of damage for whatever reason, possibly Voss +2, you throw it on the dragon when Flame comes out or when he's jumping, or even the dragon during Cone Phase and Sunspire. Other than that, I wouldn't even use Vycosas, to be honest. So much better monster sets out there. Lord Warden and trash. I'm kind of just reiterating some of the stuff. Stonekeepers if you can't sustain but you're holding block a lot. Symphony of Blades if you want to help out your group some. Orvikins and trash. Or run Talons. But yeah, hopefully this video helped you out. Gave you kind of like an idea of like where you need to, or what you need to start farming for and whatnot. Where you need to look at. You definitely want to get most of these sets that I named off. If not all of the sets that I named off. And that way you're ready to tank pretty much anything that comes your way. Other than that, I'm not going to go over traits or anything like that. I'll do that in another video. Or you can just come into stream. I stream pretty much every day starting at 5 p.m. Central. that lasts up until roughly 10:30 p.m. Central or 11 p.m. Central. So around that time frame is when I will usually stop streaming. So if you want to come in during those times, ask some questions or whatever, you're more than welcome to. Yeah, other than that, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.